Hey, what's up guys? Today I wanted to react to a physiognomy analysis, a facial analysis of me conducted by a professional physiognomist, Taylor Northcutt, and his website is in the description. So yeah, I've been following this channel for a while. Yeah, I've always been a huge fan of psychology, MBTI, typology. Also, to some extent, numerology, astrology, not that much. But lately I've discovered physiognomy and man, it's so awesome. I don't know how people can say it's a pseudoscience. Like people that believe our ancestors were monkeys literally deny physiognomy. They'll just be like, that's a pseudoscience. It's like, what are you talking? Like there's so many recurring patterns. So anyway, let's see my analysis. Here it is, I printed it out. Oh, and one thing is, I think it's important for anyone in general, but especially for believers to figure out who they are, you know, to understand your strengths, your limitations. I mean, that'll make you a more effective member of whatever you're a part of. Okay, you know, this analysis, it kind of confirmed a lot of stuff I was suspecting. I was doing a university degree. It was totally misaligned with my interests, with my own character, temperament, and personality. So, you know, I was willing to spend on this and yeah, kind of confirmed my suspicions and also gave me additional insight also. It's kind of confirmed that, you know, the trajectory I was already on, it lines up to what's described in here. There is one thing I would have preferred maybe. One thing that I think was left out a bit, but overall, I really enjoyed this analysis. So, Prosopa Insights, link is in the description by the way. Deluxe Physiognomy Analysis results for yours truly. So, the phenotype already, I did not expect this. I did not expect a phenotype analysis. For years I've been, I haven't really been deep in like phenotypes. There's some autists online, also in Italy, that literally analyze phenotypes. They're really good at it. I've known people that have sent their photos to like strangers to analyze their phenotype, and I was always weirded out at that, but I guess I ended up doing it without even knowing that he would analyze my phenotype, I guess. That was kind of a surprise to me. So my race is Caucasoid. So I'm a white person apparently, amen. My phenotype being mostly Mediterranean of the gracile variety. That's pretty interesting. Now, I do have a lot of med blood. You know, I'm kind of a mixture of Slavic, Nordic, Germanic, and Mediterranean peoples. Obviously, that is a more dominant type of trait. I'm kind of bummed. Don't I have any other features? Like, what about the cheekbones, bro? People keep telling me I look like a Slav, like a Mongol or something. But I guess a lot of Mediterranean skull shapes are similar to like Nordic. I don't really understand phenotypes that much. I couldn't spot them that easily if I wanted to. But yeah, it makes sense. So anyway, gracile Mediterranean type is the most typical Mediterranean phenotype and is both widespread throughout Europe and important to the development of various other European types. Ooh. It is distinguished by relatively swarthy pigmentation. I can't believe he's calling me swarthy. Like, what the nerve of this guy. What is he, Thomas Jefferson or something? Thick, heavy hair. I wish. It's thinning, man. I don't know what that means, thinning hair. A short stature. Bro, I'm 6 feet. A small, medium length, and narrow skull, and a rounded face with very soft, gentle, refined, graceful, and beautiful features. Especially women, graceful Mediterranean women are among the most seductive in the world. I gotta say, there are some cuties like that. First of all, among the basal Eurasian populations that first mastered agriculture in the Middle East and North Africa, MENA, during the early Neolithic, and who then spread both agriculture and civilization along with them. I'm gonna add an allegedly. Now, as you know, on my channel, we kind of question history. Amen. In Europe, this type arrived from Anatolia with the peoples of early European farmer culture. Roman roads and ships likely helped to spread this type across the Mediterranean and elsewhere in Europe. Today, its core regions of habitation include Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, and Greece, along with some coastal areas of Britain, North Africa, and Turkey. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I had a friend who was more into this phenotype stuff. Yeah, he said I was basically Mediterranean phenotypically. Now, genotypically, I actually have all sorts of blood. Italian, German blood, a lot of, like I'm a quarter Slavic, you know, my great-grandfather was Slovakian, the wife was Polish. Then what else? I got Swedish, Spanish, English, Irish, some French. So yeah, anyway, and I also love this chart. Oh my goodness. And if you notice, I don't know if this is a coincidence, but it does have 12 major groups pretty much. And how many Israelite tribes were there? I'm just saying, guys, I'm just saying. Allegedly. Alright, so I could pass as a native in Italy, France, Spain, and Portugal. And it's weird because growing up, I was always like, I didn't feel like I looked like other people in my country that much. Like, I always felt like other Italians around me were way darker and swarthier compared to me. No, some Italians are actually very light. Like, you'll find Italians that are blonde, blue-eyed, even redheads, but they're a little more rare. And growing up, I had lighter hair, but that's not too uncommon. Anyway, temperament. Temperament. In physiognomy, there is a hierarchy of sorts with physical features going from general categories to more specific features. The first level is the temperament, the basic foundation, which is determined by the side profile. And oh my goodness, I used to hate my side profile. I thought, damn, I don't have prefrontal cortex. I mean, look at me, man. And I probably don't. The next level up is the archetype, the general type of personality, which is determined by the face shape. Now, before people start criticizing physiognomy, it's unbiblical, it's like astrology, unbiblical. Guys, I mean, why are people like David in the Bible described? You know, he was handsome, he was ruddy. My Italian Bible says that David was blonde, all right? Why even describe those things if they don't matter? I might do a separate video though, an apology of physiognomy from a scriptural POV. The final layer is the personality, consisting of specific traits which are shown by the particular facial features. We can think of a painting as an allegory, where the temperament is the canvas, the archetype is the broad brush strokes, and the facial features are the minute details. If a more specific feature seemingly contradicts a trait described earlier in a broader category, for example, if your temperament shows patience but your face shows impatience, or if your face shape shows aloofness but your facial features show sensitivity, then the more specific trait, i.e. the one lower down in the analysis document, is the most accurate one and can be considered to be modifying the broader categories listed above. Alright. So here we get my temperament, basically. Based on your side profile, forehead, chin, and jawline, body type, and skin undertones, you have a sanguine temperament. Yay! Bro, I think sanguines are so chad. Like, when I look at sanguine, and there are not many sanguines I've noticed. There's so many cholerics and phlegmatics, but I don't see a lot of sanguine people, at least in the environments I've been lately. And whenever I see a sanguine, I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy's gonna be my best friend. I can tell that he's just like me. Even though they may not be like me, but birds of a feather flock together. But, you know, it's beautiful. There's diversity. It's so beautiful. So this means that you think and act on the fly with a confident, energetic, and intuitive work pace. Are courageous, fun-loving, spontaneous, and optimistic. This is too much flattery. Cut the video. I would say, yeah, I have had moments of courage, really like acting in spite of fear, or just not having the same fear as others. Like, I know a lot of people that they really cherish their anonymity. For me, that's so cowardly. No offense, guys, but I've tried that route of just being anonymous. It's like, no. I hate that. Like, I'd rather be bold, courageous, one day as a lion type of stuff, you know? Charming, charismatic, generous, and good at communicating. Now, this is hard because how am I going to confirm this stuff? I mean, without sounding boastful. What does charismatic even mean? Magnetic? I feel like I can be very generous, not always. For some things, like, I'm willing to pay more because I feel like, oh, well, I'm going to give them more. So it's a little weird. Like, I hate when people are kind of stingy with their money. Obviously, like, they're being responsible about it. But I feel like this kind of it's kind of a selfish type of attitude, and I think generosity overall, it has a positive effect also on the generous person. So in a way, it's indirectly selfish. I don't know if that makes sense. Can be demanding, self-centered, and short-tempered. I'm so short-tempered, you guys have no idea. I think rage is one of my biggest problems. I get very rageful, yeah, also lust, but we'll see that later. Anyway, focus on the here and now. Yeah, I would say so. Sometimes I hang out with his friend. He's a good buddy of mine. He's also American and half Italian. But he's very philosophical, very abstract, very likes to talk about ideas a lot. And I can do that too, but if we're walking outside, just to keep us grounded, I'll like, yo, look at that. Like, I'll point stuff out in the here and now. I don't know, I feel it's very important to do that. But I don't do it on purpose, it's just something that kind of comes, but I've noticed this. And another thing is like recognizing the subconscious things, you know, be more aware. I think that's important, you know, to be vigilant, be sober. Are relatively quick to lose patience with an activity or project and requires breaks, changes of pace, or even the occasional daytime nap. This is so true. The daytime nap, not really. I mean, I've napped sometimes in the afternoon, but I absolutely hate that. But yeah, I really get bored. Like, the amount of projects I've started without finishing them is incredible. I mean, there's a full list out there. You know, it's cool in a way because I could always pick those projects back up, but I really struggle to like, Like, I kind of act in sprints, which I think makes sense. Like, I don't like marathons. I'd rather sprint. Amen. I don't know why saying amen is so cool. Can be impatient and easily bored with a short attention span. Absolutely. I'm so impatient. You should see me drive, especially in a city like Rome, where people drive so terribly. Oh my goodness. Just thinking about it makes me... Should drink lots of water and have a diet rich in red meat and dairy. I've been telling people, that's why I eat so many steaks. They don't believe me. They want me to eat veggies. I mean, what the heck what is vegetable gonna do? He that eateth herbs is weak. No, I'm not gonna eat vegetables, bro. I'm gonna eat meat and cheese. Dude, lots of water. Yeah, actually, one of the best years of my life was 2019. One habit that I really implemented was drinking more water. I constantly be drinking. I don't like Freud, but no, because I was always drinking from this bottle, so one could think, oh, it's some type of oral fixation. But no, I generally wanted to drink more water, and it really did wonders for me, calmed me down so much. I'm gonna have some water. I hope you like the background, bro. Personality archetype. Face shape. Now, I'm kind of surprised here because I was hoping he would also spot, because I feel like I'm also developing a kind of oval shape, which would be the aristocratic shape. Oh. I don't have any boogers, thank goodness. Face shape. You have a rectangle shaped face, showing that you have the personality archetype of the warrior. And this is so crazy, guys, because months before I even did this analysis, before I knew any of this physiognomy stuff, I literally created a channel called Warrior of Christ, even a website, an online store, Warrior of Christ. Like, that was so crazy when I saw this. What? So I've been doing things right in a way. So I don't know, I'm very glad. It was a type of confirmation in a way. So we see the rectangle shape, which is the warrior archetype. Now, obviously it says Mars. I'm no fan of that Greek mythology or whatever. Yeah, I wanna fight for the truth of the gospel against falsehood. This alone, this rectangle shaped face doesn't really capture the why behind that war. I don't know, we'll see though. So this means that I am gregarious and good-humored. What the heck kind of word is that? I forgot already. I got a few dictionaries here. Merriam-Webster. Gregarious. 1A. Tending to associate with others of one's kind. Social. Yeah, that's, I like being social. I'd say I'm more introverted. But yeah, I do enjoy staying in company of like-minded people. It can't be anyone though. I would say I have phases where I'm very social, where I can be able to be popular and even fit in among the normies and just dominate those social situations. But otherwise, no, I become a recluse or just stick around to my own kind. Sociable. Yeah, I would say I greatly benefit from being social, but I kind of alternate. Good humor. I would say that sometimes my humor is incredible. Sometimes I make people laugh very easily. Other times if I'm down, not really. Or let's say when I'm excited, I think I'm very persuasive when I'm excited. Really able to get people on board. Some people may see that as manipulation, which is crazy. There's no deception or lies involved, but it's just my energy can be so just excited. I am action-oriented, impatient, and impulsive with a short attention span. Yes, I'm impatient. Yes, I'm impulsive. Action-oriented, I'd say I'm also very passive. In a way, I can become very lazy. But yeah, I would say action in a sense like trying to be masculine and solar and yeah, active. Though it depends. Like there's seasons for everything, But overall, sure. Are self-confident with great strength and power. Now, again, this depends, but yeah, sure. Take big risk and can be prone to accidents. I would say, yeah. I would say I've oh man. Nah, clearly, yeah, I don't know. I don't like the safe path that much. Now, I can consider it. I would say that, yeah, I can take risks and not think about it too much. So that could be good, but it can also be disastrous. And sometimes I'll just, boom, go into things without thinking about it, knowing that it is risky, but still doing it. Dang. There are consequences. Are pugnacious, with a short fuse and strong impulse to fight. Pugnacious, bro, what the fuck? This guy, man. What am I? Look at me, I'm a Sanguine. Do you think I'm a nerd that knows what pugnacious means, bro? How do you even say this word? Pugnacious? Pugnacious. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like in Italian, pugnacia. Yeah, that makes sense. Having a quarrelsome or combative nature. Yeah, I would say I'm very belligerent, especially when it comes to religious topics or political topics. It's crazy. But I'm also chill. Are extremely loving and generous with your friends and extremely harsh and unforgiving with your enemies. Wow. Yeah, that is true. I can be very unforgiving and harsh towards enemies. Often move between relationships. That's true. And another thing I didn't mention is that I'm actually an INFJ. And, I've known this since I was 17 years old. And every time it's just, what INFJs will do is kind of like, I didn't even know INFJs did this, but apparently they're doing it. They'll just kind of slam the door and move on. It's not a good thing to do. It's very wicked. But yeah, it's something I've done where, I get sick of the relationship. Like, I don't really express my frustration. It just builds up and then I'm done. Boom. I find another group of people or friends. Not the best thing, so yeah, call me out on that. I'm at best courageous, ambitious, vigorous, passionate, and forthright. Yeah, I would say I can be very passionate. And at worst, angry, combative, intrusive, selfish, and cruel. Truk. I can get super angry. Interface. Now this is very interesting, and this is something that he's captured that I think many people fail to capture. Your interface is big, showing that you are sensitive, receptive, and can be easily overwhelmed by stress or stimulus, physical, emotional, or psychic. Guys, this is so true. I feel like so many people in the world are numb, and I don't know. Like, I always felt like, oh my goodness, am I autistic? Why am I so sensitive to smells? Why is my eyesight so good? Why do I hear things that others don't hear? Why do I notice little details that others don't notice in body language, for example? Like, why am I so sensitive and emotional? Like, what is this? Why? Like, I hate this. I don't want to be distressed. I wish I was like a psychopath that didn't feel anything sometimes. Or a sociopath or something. I don't know. No. Instead, no. I'm all sensitive and, like getting physical with women. I've done this sometimes. Not like full-blown fornication, but I got in physical with chicks, like kissing, and oh my goodness, to me, that stuff is very overwhelming. And also I feel pretty guilty about it. Am I soft for that? I don't know, man, but I just believe in marriage, man. I think marriage is cool. I don't like fornication. So psychic, that's also interesting because guys, sometimes I've literally predicted crazy things. I remember this one episode where I was at some friend's house and, we were 4 guys, we were goofing around. And at a certain point, they were playing with cards. And, back then, I was still a Christian. I was very, conservative. And, they were kind of gambling with, just for fun. I don't think money was even involved. But they were kind of gambling. And I was like, no, gambling is degenerate. I'm not going to gamble. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to get addicted to this. And, So anyway, which I'm against gambling, by the way. But anyway, one of the guys, he challenged another guy and he said, yo, if you guess the next card out of this deck, I will give you, I don't know how much he said, like $100 or something. And I was like, 3 of hearts. And my friend, he looked at me, the guy that was challenged, but then he said another card or whatever. This guy, he flips the card. It was literally a 3 of hearts. So I don't know, sometimes I can be like, so yeah, I do think I kind of have that ability. Personality traits, eyebrows. This is so interesting. I wonder if my eyebrows have remained the same. Oh, and also I kind of have some in the middle. What does a unibrow mean? He commented what it means. If you want to know, ask in the comment section. Your eyebrows are long, showing that you are premeditative and like to plan things out in advance. They are curved in shape, showing that you make decisions based on the feelings of other people and or the consensus of the group. FE, I would say this is very true. Like, extroverted feeling is predominant in me after an I. So they also lie flat across your brow, showing you are stubborn. Oh my god, this is so true. I can be so stubborn. Like, it's really hard to persuade me. I can change my mind, but if someone else is trying to actively change my mind or persuade me to something, I can be very stubborn. I have to change my mind on my own. They are low set, showing that you are quick and judgmental. True. Wanting to choose and decide immediately and move on from the issue. Your eyebrows are thick, showing that you have intense energy and stamina. Yeah, my eyebrows are pretty bushy. Eyes. Your eyes are big, showing that you're open and innocent and perhaps a bit naive. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can be a little too naive. They are almond-shaped, showing that you see the world through the lens of your intellect and are guarded and cautious. Yeah, I pretty much always had almond eyes. There was one guy that told me I look Chinese. They are deep-set, showing that you are reflective, reserved, cautious, and observant. Usually thinking before you speak. Yeah, this is true. I'm very Like if I say something, it's usually not that spontaneous. Like I curate my words and I'll even rehearse speaking. And I think the effects of rehearsing your speech are just incredible. People kind of underestimate that. They are wide set, showing that you are tolerant and focused on the big picture rather than the details. This is so true. I hate when people specialize or they nitpick little details. They find the hair in the egg or whatever. And no! There's a forest. Why are you looking at one tree? I hate that attitude, guys. Missing the forest for the tree is one of the worst things in my view. So yeah, I like to have a bird's eye view. I like the view from airplanes, in fact. You know, that's what I like. And obviously, at the same time, I do care for details. I am kind of OCD in that way. But overall, would I rather just know, I don't know, dentistry? Or would I know multiple branches of science or, you know, knowledge? And like, for me, it makes no sense to just be hyper specific. Oh my goodness. Your left eye has a positive canthal tilt, showing that you are confident, optimistic, and rebellious. Able to aggressively assert your own interests in private and in your personal life. A teacher in high school once told me I was rebellious. But, you know, like she said it as it was cool, so that was awesome, man. Confident, yeah, my left eye. That would be like my more spontaneous inner self. However, your right eye, my right eye, has a neutral canthal tilt. Yeah, I would say it's definitely not as positive, but I wouldn't say it's entirely neutral. Definitely not negative, but I wouldn't say it's too neutral. Like I can still see some tilt, but yeah, overall, it's more neutral. Showing that you have a good balance between prioritizing your own interests and those of others in public and in your professional life. Yeah, you guys should see me in a setting with normies. You would not think that I'm who I am, and that might not be a good thing. And I wish that I didn't have this split. I think that it creates a lot of asymmetry, especially this last year where I was in university, I was miserable, and I just constantly walking on eggshells, hiding who I was. You know, oh my goodness. But yeah, it is a useful skill, I would say. And I feel like some people, they don't cultivate that enough. And we gotta be harmless as doves at the end of the day and wise as serpents. Now, another thing with this physiognomy, now there's a lot of genetic determinism, I guess, involved in this. So it can kind of undermine the role of free will. But at the same time, we do have free will, at least at a certain degree. At the very least, you have thin upper eyelids, showing that you are independent and can function well on your own. Now, I would say I'm certainly independent in thought, but no, I'm actually a very weak person and I depend a lot on others. But maybe I could function on my own. Live as some hermit in the countryside. That would be nice. Ears. My mom complimented my ears. Yeah, I guess I like them too. Your ears are big, showing independence, kindness, generosity, and magnanimity. They are also wide splayed, showing that you are socially independent, nonconformist, and stubborn, a true free thinker. Now, yeah, I would say I like to think freely outside of the box, and I don't like to conform. I remember I was researching physiognomy, and in university in class was this little normie dork. Oh my goodness, he was so pathetic. He loved the European Union and all this garbage. He wanted a high grade. I remember his ears were literally like this, and I was like, bro. But I was still friendly towards him, obviously, just acting like a normie. Anyway. You are so focused on independence that you may have difficulty maintaining relationships. Damn it. They bulge in the upper third, showing a strong interest in intellectual matters. Yeah, I would say I really love those intellectual matters. I'm interested. Nose. Now, my nose is a trait I'm very glad of because it's straight. My grandma, she always compliments my nose. I have the best nose in my family. After my grandma. Oh my goodness, my grandma's nose is perfect for a woman. My Italian grandma. Anyway. Your nose is long, showing that you are a patient and contemplative person who thinks deeply about issues. It is straight in shape, showing a rational, logical, dry, and cool-headed disposition. I would say so. I'm also interested in logical fallacies and, yeah, just being cool-headed, in intellectual matters at least. This is nicknamed the Greek nose. The bridge of your nose is broad, showing intense energy, sociability, and stamina when it comes to your action and behavior. There is no visible bump on the bridge of your nose, showing that you are fairly calm, collected, and cool under pressure. I guess if I had a bump, it would mean that I'm more sensitive. The tip of your nose is round, showing kindness and level, showing steadiness and reliability. I would have never even noticed that, so that's crazy. Your nostrils are round, showing a romantic, instinctive, generous, and sensual disposition. Bro, stop calling me out, man. I'm blushing here, man. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a really... Well, I guess it could be a good thing if I had a wife, but outside of marriage, oh my goodness, guys. But what am I gonna do? 9 out of 10 people in this country got, and most of these hoes ain't even, they fornicated in the past. I mean, what am I gonna do with these girls? Most of them aren't even Christian. I mean, find me a Christian girl in this country, man. Philtrum, your philtrum is medium in depth, showing an average amount of energy and stamina, and wide, showing a strong sexual impulse pleasure over principles. Now here he called me out so harshly, so I really need some grace and mercy, and the Lord has shown me a lot. But yeah, no, it's spot on, and I don't know why. I feel like this is also something that my dad has, my grandfathers, my great-grandfathers. If used correctly, obviously that's great, but lust is really a big issue in my life and has been since I was a child. Mouth. Your mouth is wide, showing that you are outgoing, confident, expressive, talkative, and avid with strong appetites. That's so true. I really have strong appetites. I'm very gluttonous, even though I'm not fat or anything, but I am very gluttonous, and oh my goodness, I can have really strong appetites, and not only for food. Your upper lip is full, showing a good and trusting relationship with the outside world and other people. Now, I was pretty pleasantly surprised at this. I'm glad to know this. I feel like, yeah, in general, I get along with people with on like a basic level, basic interactions. Like when I go to the supermarket, my interactions are awesome with the cashiers, or even at a restaurant with the waiters. It's always awesome. Or with barbers also. Like I don't talk much, but I don't know. I feel like Harry Potter in the Half-Blood Prince when he drinks that potion and he's lucking out every single moment. Sometimes that's how I feel. Harry Potter is demonic. Witchcraft. Your upper lip is full, showing a good and trusting relationship with the outside world and other people. But this can be bad as well, because I can trust people that actually don't mean good towards me. They don't have my best interest at heart. Alongside a ready willingness to express what you truly think and feel deep down. Yeah, this is very true. I can be very expressive. That's why I don't think live streams are good in my case. Bros, if I did live streams, I think I would spill so many beans and just say, like, I could never do a podcast or something. For me, it has to be not scripted, but I have to make sure that nothing bad gets out. It has a wide and low arch sun shape, showing that your communication style is direct, logical, rational, facts-based, and maybe somewhat cold, detached, or blunt. Now, this is very true sometimes, especially when I'm debating. I can just, oh my goodness. Like when I get into that hyper-rational, focused mindset, that's a logical fallacy. I might not even say it, but I can be very cold and just, this is very sharp. Facts don't care about your feelings, as Ben Shapiro would say. Your lower lip is full, showing that you are very in tune with your inner world of thoughts, feelings, morals, and desires. I think this is very true, and again, it's so important to know yourself and recognize your feelings, and I would say I'm pretty good at spotting that. And I like my thick lips. I mean, I don't know, I always thought carnal lips were better than the weird, slimy, little reptile lips that some people have. The corners of your mouth are level, showing that you are level-headed, firm, and resolute. And lipless, now that sounds wrong, showing that you have good executive leadership capacity. Perhaps. I am obsessed with leadership. That is true. I've always been obsessed with leaders, whether political leaders, religious leaders. Like for me, people like Moses, Jesus. I mean, oh my goodness. Like, they're so cool. Or... Yeah, I don't know. I love leadership. And again, this is also in line with my numerology, but that's a different branch. I might make a video on that. I don't think it's healthy for people in general, and especially Christians, to focus on these matters. But I can't deny that in my case, these things match up, like numerology, physiognomy, MBTI psychology. I mean, I know some basics of Western astrology, Chinese astrology, but among all, yeah, astrology is probably the worst among these. And anyway, it's condemned in scripture, so I think we should stay clear of this stuff. Yeah, numerology, very dangerous. I mean, you're gonna base your day off what date it allegedly is, which is a construct. I mean, who knows what date we're truly in, you know? Facial asymmetry analysis. Now, this is the scariest part for me, because I think my facial asymmetry has worsened lately, and it's something that really displeases me, because I don't know, I'm very OCD, so in a way, so I feel like asymmetry is unacceptable, and it's also a sign that I'm not actually being my true self in public, like I'm wearing a mask, and I hate that. It can be useful in navigating social circumstances, but I wish I had less asymmetry. Left side. Below are two composites of your left side, showing us who you are in your private and personal life. Based on the features of your left side, we can say that in private and personal life, you are more spacey, tolerant, yeah. Big picture oriented, absolutely. Rebellious, confident, assertive, doubtful, paranoid, blunt, direct, autistic, and or ADHD. This dude is roasting me alive. But yeah, no, this list is spot on. I can't, there's nothing here that I really can say, no, that's fake. That's false. Like, yeah, I would say in my personal private life, that's kind of how I am. Very few people actually get to see that true me. But I feel like even though I can get very rageful and angry, like the fact that I'm willing to open up like that and be so, you know, when you get angry in that way with someone you know very well, you know, it's kind of a sign that you're comfortable with him or with her. Yeah, I feel like people, they kind of feel honored when they see that side of me. Right side, below are two composites of your right side, showing us who you are in your public and professional life. Now look at the stark difference here. Like already you can see this is a totally different person. I much prefer my left side, which would be connected to the right hemisphere, which is like the more emotional. While the left, I guess, is the more logical hemisphere, hence why, you know, obviously in public, you're gonna try to navigate more logically. I guess that's the reasoning. Look how narrow my head is. I look like a harmless NPC normie here. Like I still look a little goofy in a way. Look at this dude, man. Like there I look like some lion. My animal archetype, what is that? Like here I look kind of wide, like a giant just smiling. I look like I could eat you alive. And here I look like, hey guys, what's up? I'm Alex. Oh, I'm just a friendly everyday person. Based on the features of your right side, we can say that in your public and professional life, you project as being more focused, nitpicky. This is very true. When it comes to like group assignments in school, like the littlest details, yeah, I would just really hyper-focus on those things. Detail-oriented, absolutely 100%. Conformist, sociable, intense, energetic, smooth talking. That's true. I can put on a mask and I would like to change that. But I don't know if that's the best thing either. Sociable, intense, energetic, smooth talking. I don't really like being such a loner in those situations. I can be, but even when I act as a loner, inevitably somehow I end up being sociable and making a few friends at least. Like I've never been like 100% a loner. Like even at my worst, there was always someone who would orbit. That's so weird now that I think of it. Yeah, I would say I can be very smooth talking. I can rizz up pretty easily. Yeah, I think that's such a valuable skill. Winning souls. Overall picture, first impression and keywords: open, friendly, enthusiastic, driven, optimistic, confident, independent, wild. I love that word, wild. Yeah, I'd say that's a good thing. Like, I can't really be put on a leash that easily. I would never like that. Greatest strengths: charismatic confidence and generosity. That's pretty cool, charismatic confidence. Your sanguine nature gifts you with natural charm, charisma, and a genuine, generous spirit. You are courageous, optimistic, and able to inspire those around you with your passionate, forthright energy, making people feel seen and valued in your presence. That's so true. Not to boast, but I feel like people feel very listened to when I'm around them. Even if we may not agree, I'm still willing to listen. I don't know, I feel like I can be very passionate and inclusive in a way within that passion. And that energy is so crucial to motivate people and persuade them. It doesn't require any lies or deception. That's why I freaking hate the modern world. So many lies and deception from politicians. No. Enough. Intellectual depth and composure. Despite your action-oriented impulses, you possess a contemplative, logical mind and remain cool under pressure. I would say, yeah, outwardly, but even inwardly, I have, like recently even, I have had very pressureful moments. I don't think I can really go into detail here. But I've had some moments, oh my goodness, the pressure I was under. But still, I remained pretty cool and even laughed in the face of those trials. But overall, I would say that I kind of burn out. My battery dies once in a while. And I become very passive, you know, very lunar, more in my feelings, especially in autumn, fall, when it's colder, when trees and leaves are dying, when the leaves are falling. I have seasonal affective disorder, I think, SAD. I don't believe in psychiatry, it's a pseudoscience, but yeah, that's spot on. Your capacity for deep thought, rational analysis, and steady reliability allows you to cut through chaos with clarity while keeping a firm hand on the wheel. Ooh, that sounds awesome. I am not such an overthinker. Rather, I'll have moments where I can think very deeply and entertain different ideas, even conflicting ideas, simultaneously without necessarily believing in any one of them. That's such a useful skill. Metacognition, learning about logical fallacies, that'll just level you up incredibly. It's also tough because obviously, you're dealing in a world where logic and morality are going extinct. Independent adaptability. You are a socially independent free thinker who can effortlessly switch between big picture tolerance and focused, detail-oriented execution. Now, I would say this is very spot on. I both see the bigger picture, but I can also focus on more specific things. This ability to rebel against convention while still navigating group dynamics makes you resourceful in environments that demand both vision and precision. And yeah, I would say I can be pretty good at that. Like, I can thrive in social environments, even among normies. I don't like being around narcissists, but normies, it can be pretty fun to be with them, even while you're a schizo or something. Yeah, I would say it's a useful skill for sure. Potential growth areas. Okay, this is probably the most important part of the document. Short temper and impulsivity. Your quick fuse and impatience can lead to combative outbursts or rash decisions, especially when you feel constrained or bored. Yeah, 100%. Your short attention span and need for constant stimulation may cause you to abandon projects or relationships prematurely, leaving a trail of unfinished business. Yeah, again, this is unfortunately true. You would do well to pause before reacting. Yeah, one piece of advice, a good buddy of mine who unfortunately lost contact, he told me, just count to 10 before, getting angry or, lashing out like that, And man, that guy was wise. I used to think he was a little soft, but damn, no, that guy was wise. I hope he's doing well. You would do well to pause before reacting, counting to 10, exactly, or stepping away to let your initial fire cool, and to commit to seeing things through even when boredom strikes. This is something I struggle with. I don't want to push through. I don't do marathons. I hate running and jogging, bros. Harshness with enemies and stubbornness. You can be unforgiving and cruel to those you perceive as adversary. That's very true. And your stubbornness makes compromise feel like defeat. For me, compromise is one of the dirtiest words out there. Whenever I hear compromise, ew, I'm disgusted. Like, my disgust sensitivity just spikes up. I hate compromise, but maybe I should heed this advice. This black and white approach to loyalty often alienates potential allies, and that's so important because, yeah, there are many potential allies that I have alienated. Even in my own country, evangelizing, I've even alienated people that were more on board with the gospel, but maybe just not as fired up as I was against false religions or whatever. Yeah, I really distance a lot of people like that. And deepens conflicts unnecessarily, turning minor disagreements into lasting rifts. That's so true. Like minor, even secondary doctrine, tertiary doctrine when it comes to the Bible, for example, can really put me at odds against other people in a way that's not necessary. Not just spirituality, also in other ways. You would do well to remember that today's enemy may be tomorrow's ally, and to practice measured responses even when you feel betrayed. This is so true. People that I beefed with, they turned out to be incredible allies, even though I didn't agree with them 100%. So, yeah, I feel like I've lost a lot of allies, and not only potential allies, but even people that were allied to me already, but I kind of pushed them away. I didn't want them around because of some minor disagreement. That wasn't good. Emotional overwhelm and relationship instability. Oh my goodness, this is the worst one. Your big inner face makes you highly sensitive and easily overwhelmed by stress, yet your fierce independence and tendency to move between relationships undermines the intimacy you secretly crave. This guy's calling me out because, yeah, I do really crave that. Ever since I was a child, I was like, I want to get married. Why don't my parents just do it for me? Like, put me with some chick and I'll be with her forever, So I really do crave that. Yeah, I do crave that a lot, but I've always struggled to maintain it. I can attract, but I've never really found someone who, yeah, I don't know. It's always been so difficult for me. With guys, a little different, but also with guy friends, I've had several best friends. Like I've changed, and depending on the phase of my life where I was, so I haven't been very stable in this sense, unfortunately. So another reason why my best friend is the Lord. And it's so cheesy to say, but like, who else otherwise? This push-pull can leave you feeling isolated despite your gregarious nature. As you struggle to balance connection with freedom, you would do well to build consistent support structures and practice staying in relationships through discomfort rather than defaulting to a fresh start every single time. every time things get hard. That is unfortunately a recurring pattern. Oh my goodness, that's tough. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm cooked unless the Lord helps me. Recommendations. I think that good career. Now this is a little weird. The career options I think are a little strange. Given my worldview, I think that good career options for you would be in the fields of coaching, corporate leadership, entrepreneurship, investigative journalism, law enforcement, military service, security, or the skill trade. So let's dissect each one of these. Now, I think coaching, yeah, I think I could do very well at that. And I actually did try to pursue it in the past, but I just didn't believe in that plan I was offering that much. I did get a few leads, but I don't know, I felt like such an imposter. I didn't like it. You know, I didn't really care about masculinity coaching, self-improvement coaching. What I care about is scripture, it's conspiracy theories, it's logical analyses, and you know, stuff like that. So, but I do think coaching could be, you know, a potential career. I don't know, because I do like that. I think I could really, and you know, one of my goals is to help people out, and has been for years. You know, that's what I enjoy. I like helping people out, even for free. I love that. So, corporate leadership. This is very interesting. I don't know if I would like the corporate world. I think I would be able to do well in it. But no, I was kind of in a university that funnels people, and there's, you know, there's a lot of corporate finance, a lot of business and management. That environment sucked. I knew a lot of people in like top universities of Europe, like book coding, places like this. Bro, I don't think I would ever like that. But yeah, again, leadership, I think, yeah, that would be one of my strong suits maybe. Entrepreneurship, ooh. This is also nice, and yeah, I believe so too. I think I have a more entrepreneurial spirit in a way. Investigative journalism, this is also very interesting. I'm not really sure what that means. There's this channel I like, Swilliamism. I guess he's technically an investigative journalist. Help him out, guys, come on. Join his Patreon. I'm not joined to it yet, but law enforcement, military service, security. So law enforcement, yeah, but I feel like law enforcement is like riddled with Freemasons. And also I don't like the idea of being a cop or something. Like, I have respect for carabinieri and police, but I just feel like it's kind of unnecessary. Like, it's not really a biblical thing to have a police force. This is mainly a modern thing, not a biblical one. So I do have some type of respect for that, but at the same time I feel like they're gonna unjustly persecute some people based on unjust laws. So I don't really like that. Like, I don't want to feel like a cog in a machine or something. Military service, again, what am I going to die for? Am I going to die for my own country, my own people, or am I going to die for some foreign country in the Middle East or something? Plus, growing up, I always hated war. Like, whenever I'd hear of wars, people going into war with guns, like the chances of dying so high, I'd be like, what? People did that? That'd be crazy. Maybe military service if I grew up around swords and shields and, you know, catapults, stuff like that. Yeah, maybe I would like that. But nowadays, no, I don't think I'd be in military service. Now, security, yeah, I think yeah, but again, I don't know. Like, I see these security guards, or I see bouncers in clubs. I don't like that type of energy. I don't like that. I don't feel like a guard. I feel more like an active soldier more than a defender. Or the skilled trades. Now, I don't know about the skilled trades. I tried to get into carpentry, like, not really try to get into, but I was interested in it. I did a course on it, and I don't know. I was just terrible at it. I didn't even know the difference between a nail and a screw. So I'm not very manual. I'd say more than using my hands, I kind of try to use my mind. Okay, this part is interesting. Girls, listen up. A compatible partner for you would have a melancholic temperament, so as to complement and balance out your outgoing, enthusiastic, and bold, sanguine energy with their own sensitive, intelligent, and artistic energy. Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, I feel like this is the biggest flaw of this analysis in particular, is that it doesn't really capture my artistic side. Now, maybe I'm kind of overestimating it, but I do feel ever since I was a child, I really loved the arts. I loved music, I loved drawing, sculpting, yeah, just writing literature and just pumping my emotions, the state of my soul in those words, in my poetry, in my songs. So I feel like this analysis' biggest flaw is that it did not capture that artistic side of me, which I would say it's a big part of my identity. But the rest was pretty good. In terms of face shapes and archetypes, a compatible partner would have a diamond-shaped Venus face. That's very interesting. Emma Stone, I guess that's Emma Stone, right? Then an oval-shaped sun face. I love the aristocratic king archetype. I love kings, I love leadership. I love political leaders. I love spiritual leaders. Yeah, I really do. I love that. Number one, I love the Lord, the Almighty, the Alpha and the Omega. And then a trapezoid or a trapezoid-shaped Saturn face. That's very interesting. For the longest time, I had a crush on a chick that had this face shape, but clearly that didn't work out either. Standing for the romantic, diplomat, aloof aristocrat, and diligent accountant archetypes, respectively. But I don't like the accountant archetype that much. I like the romantic Venus. I think it matches with my Mars face so much. I'd say overall, this was a great analysis. I had a blast reading it. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video. God bless. I'll see you next time, bro.